This is also pretty bad. It goes back to my favorite person in the planet. You guessed it. You guessed it. Dark Side Phil. My favorite person to look at in the entirety of the planet. The reason why I have this Twitch is to look at people like Philip Burnell. And who's better than Philip Burnell than Philip Burnell? So he did another little bit of kerfluffle per se. He's out here showing his true colors. His true colors at the end of a stream. He did one where I believe he didn't have the support that he wanted. Rather than be humble and be appreciative, he bitches at his audience. Look at this. Let me make myself smaller. I know it's a shame that I'm making myself smaller so I could show more of him. But I think it's worth it for this particular bit. This is after a really bad game. He just played the game and he's bitching about the fact that he spent extra time on the stream for the audience and they didn't support him.
And in addition to that, as you guys can see, I stayed extra late for you guys, and basically it amounted to nothing. No one's really supported, which pisses me off. It does. That I'm playing a game. Obviously, it's frustrating. A lot of people showed up to watch it because you saw how frustrating it was, and no one supported. Yeah, that does upset me. Okay? It would have been one thing if I'm staying late and people are laughing, having a good time, and a few people are at least supporting the stream, but no one did. And that really upsets me. Oh, look what Phil did. Fuck you. No, and I mean that too, sincerely. From me, fuck you. I'm going to hope that tomorrow when I finish it, there will be some support.
Could you imagine the audacity, Harry Potter and the audacity of this cunt? Could you imagine? You play a game, you're getting no support because you're terrible at the game, you're bitching, you're moaning. It's already a well-known thing that the game isn't good to begin with. And instead of having any sort of respect, a modicum of decorum, anything, you berate the audience that you have because they didn't pay you, because you spent extra time and you didn't get that reciprocated back. And he thinks that this is perfectly normal and good to say online. People have been clipping this. They've been posting it on live stream fails on Reddit. They've been blasting this guy up the ass. And of course, he makes a response saying, no. It was, I'm upset because imagine I'm doing all this work. I'm busting my butt. Right, something that he says a lot, which is I'm working my ass off in order to provide this this content, and it's not being reciprocated. What? Could you imagine? Could you imagine? No other time period in the world would something like this exist apart from 2022, where people reinforce this. Unfortunately, enough people reinforce this where people like this still exist, and this is only him. Could you imagine the amount of e-thoughts, streaming hoes, that are this entitled to their audience, asking them for money essentially for nothing? Fuck.
It is pissing me off that I just stayed extra late and I got nothing for it. You know, the game's not even good. I toughed it out for you guys tonight and I got nothing out of it. When you guys actively, visibly see that I'm really annoyed that the game sucks, and I'm obviously toughing through it because you guys are here to watch and you're enjoying, you know, hopefully there would be reciprocation. There was no reciprocation tonight. I mean, all the tips that came in before even the extra time I played. All right. So hopefully tomorrow.
And also the entitlement, the tips, the entitlement that this fucking bag of goo has for tips. Right. Could you imagine? Unfortunately, here in the United States, we do have a culture where tipping is required. Even though it's optional, it is required. And I resent it because it's a byproduct of the restaurant industry being a shitty industry that could get away with essentially underpaying their employees. It's dumb, right? In Europe, that's the only thing that I had to give to the Europeans when I was over there in England, that there's no tipping. There's no expectation of tip, right? So it was great. Every time I went to a restaurant, I'm like, oh, you just pay what you owe. That's it. There's no expectation of giving them a tip. As a matter of fact, they can't take a tip. So I'm like, oh, shit. All right. I prefer that than having to give you that little machine where people turn around and it says, hey, how did I do today? How did I do today? 10, 15, 22%? Some of those machines, I don't know if you guys overseas are aware of these iPads that they use with whatever service that takes the processing. Some of them I've seen starts at 20%. So it says 20%, 25%, 30% tip. Now you could put your own tip. But the prompt there, and they're holding the machine and looking at you. So it's almost like you go, all right, fuck. And if you put 18, you're an asshole. You're an asshole if you put 18. Now, where that has to go and tie back is Philip, Mr. Phil Burnell here, where he has this expectation of tip for what is permanent mediocre work, right? So if you're putting in, I guess they have that for a reason, right? You think that the person deserves a little bit of change, so you send them some change and you go, hey, here. I'm really liking the stream. Here's money. I remember, not to be virgin-y, but in Mexican wrestling, wrestlers developed this thing with the audience where if the wrestlers had a great match, the audience would throw money at the ring, which is kind of gangster because imagine you did such a good job in a wrestling match that people are just throwing wads of bills into the ring, right? So it's kind of interesting. But here he's trying to do the same thing because, well, it's fucking Phil. But just like fucking the audacity. When I saw this for the first time, I'm like, there's no way this guy is actually saying this, sitting in front of a camera and saying, I spent extra time here, guys. I was here for you. And you're not reciprocating to me? I got most of the tips before this, the last hour.
I really did not like tonight's stream. And in addition to that, as you guys can see, I stayed extra late for you guys, and basically it amounted to nothing. No one's really supported, which pisses me off. It does. That I'm playing a game.
Pisses you off that he's playing a game. Fuck this guy. I think that he does have a response. Let me see if I could look this up. This channel is really good, by the way, for this sort of stuff, right? So he mentioned, oh, I'm not ungrateful, which is his response to people criticizing his words. That no, guys, you misunderstood me. People are misconstruing my words, right? They're putting words in my mouth that I didn't say. I'm not ungrateful. I was just upset.
I don't even care. I don't even care that the trolls are going to be so stupid and are going to say nasty, negative stuff about me. I don't care. Because what they say is white noise. What they say is out there and doesn't affect us who are actually here to have a good time on the stream.
Us. No, that's not the way it works, right? And we is something that he often says, right? Oh, we. This is us. Because then it's no longer you're paying me. It's we're helping each other. We're helping each other, which is just like a predatory, cultish thing to do, right? He's using all the same language that all the cultists use. I don't know if he's doing it on purpose. I don't think he's that smart to know that he's doing something like that. I think he's just doing it because it works from the actual idiots that give this guy money. But, ugh.
And understand and enjoy the content. The truth is, everyone last night that trolled me and everyone who made a stupid video overnight, Phil's ungrateful, they're never going to support my content regardless. They're scumbags. They're there to just bring down others around them.
So look at what he said, right? Let's read between the lines. If you don't support me, you're a scumbag. If you don't support me, you're a scumbag. That's exactly what he just said.
Have a good time on the streams and understand and enjoy the content. The truth is, everyone last night that trolled me and everyone who made a stupid video overnight, Phil's ungrateful, they're never going to support my content regardless. They're scumbags.
They weren't going to support my content regardless. They're scumbags. So they're scumbags essentially because they're not supporting his content, which is truly how he feels about people that watch his shit and don't support his content, that you're wasting his time because he's working his ass off playing video games, playing fucking games, and he deserves the tips. What? I'm glad there's a whole community of people that are finding and collating all the information about this, like the things that he says, the inconsistencies, the lies, the stretching, the game stuff that he does, begging for money, saying he has no money for his day off, but then, you conflate it to the account that people have claimed is his WWE Champions account, and he spent $40,000, $50,000. What? I'm jealous. Yes, I am jealous.
They're there to just bring down others around them. Every single time something like this happens, they jump, right? They absolutely jump on the... It's a joke. It's so predictable. They have absolutely no originality. They all just parrot each other and do the same sheepish content. They have nothing to say. They literally have nothing creative or interesting or unique to say at all. They're just
nothing creative because you're the one that has to say everything. They're not saying anything. You're the only one that is fucking has to say anything. It's your words. Right? Isn't that the interesting part? They have nothing interesting to say. Yeah, because they don't have to say anything interesting. All they have to do is just say, hey, look, this is what he said. Hold you accountable. Red Dexter says his words, not mine. Oh, that's funny. Dude, if somebody paid me $12 to play video games, I wouldn't complain. He does 2 streams a day, and he expects minimum $100 each stream. That's the bare minimum that he wants for each stream. And at some point, if I do recall correctly, I think that was higher. And he wanted more from that. And he had certain events that he would encourage people to spend money on his shit, even though, what is he doing? Absolutely nothing. So people tip him, and if he doesn't get enough, then he bitches and moans at his audience. And one of my favorite things that he does, as we've talked about before, is the beg tweet, right? So if the stream is slow, in his words, which means that people aren't supporting, he'll just send a tweet out. And then if you look at his tweets, they're like, hey guys, Stream's not doing as good. If you guys could join and support, please, it'd be great. My day off is tomorrow and I need money for my day off. Imagine that. Imagine that. I need money for my day off. You go to your normal job, you talk to your boss, and you go, hey, man, listen, dude, I know you paid me last week, but I need money for my day off because I spent all that money on dumb shit. I delivered gin to my house. I DoorDashed after spending $600 on groceries. Now, granted, after they give the money to him, he could do whatever he wants with that. But where the judgment comes and the bitching and moaning and the whole community against this guy is the fact that he's always saying on how he has no money, on how he has so many bills and people are screwing him over. And because of the trolls, he has no money because he doesn't have any jobs, because he can't get jobs because people bitch at the people that are willing to give him sponsorships and whatnot, which is not the fucking case. He does it on his own. He's the one that pretty much shits on himself, but alas, he expects everything from his audience while inputting the least. So he's not willing to do anything to improve anything. He just wants money for free, and when he gets called out on it, then he bitches and moans, saying essentially you're a scumbag if you don't support the stream. Fuck off.
The same dunces repeating the same diatribes over and over in a circle because they're that stupid.
Was 100% solved.
Yes,
It's so interesting, though. It's so interesting looking at somebody like this, right? What creates somebody like this? What makes something like this? And what keeps them going, right? How could somebody objectively look at an individual like Phil and go, yes, this guy's worthy of support. This guy's worthy of me spending money, even though he's clearly spending it on online mobile games. He's lying to his audience. There's evidence. There's people supporting it. His own audience has questioned it, but he tells them, hey, you're an idiot if you look at that content, right? Essentially berating his audience for not giving him enough money. How does somebody like this come to exist? It's such a weird thing. And he's going to keep thriving, which is the interesting part, because there's always going to be someone there that's going to go, no, he's good. He's great. He's fun. For what? The majority of his streams, granted, these are compilations of him doing that. I considered doing a stream where I watch one of his streams in its entirety and take a shot every time he asks for money. I considered that, but I realized it would probably be 4 to 5 hours, and I would die. I would die because there would be no way that I would be able to support, or my liver would be able to support the amount of times that this guy is actively asking for money. But $12 to play games is much more than you should be getting. You shouldn't be getting shit. Yeah, right? That's the bit. But some people think that it's valuable to, hey, here, you're doing this content. But for him, when he doesn't get that, he turns into a baby and he bitches and moans like, what's going on here? And when he gets called out on it, immediately he goes to name calling. Oh, everybody's trolls. He's labeling everybody, this entire group of people that have reasonable doubt, trolls, liars, deceivers, bad people.
very much hope today goes much better for me because I need that support today to have my day off tomorrow and to afford Gotham Nights on Friday, which we're about to talk about. Because it's now a what if I'm even going to get to play it on Friday.
Yeah, that's the other part too, right? The guilting. So part of the job that he's given himself is that he needs to invest in the video games, right? He needs to buy the video games that he plays on stream so that then he could make content. So imagine getting to the point where you are begging your audience for the funds to be able to get those games while it's been proven that you spend the majority of your money on online mobile games on your phone. So then where's the connection there? It doesn't make any fucking sense. And yet he sits there and bitches and moans and complains and says, oh, man, I need money for my day off. Your day off? Your day off. I need money for my day off. Ugh. God, and it doesn't help he's also ugly. I believe I would have been a little bit more passing on this guy had he actually put some effort into his appearance. Whereas Darkside Phil has only put effort in opening the Snickers bar wrapper to then shove it in his mouth.
Multiple days with lower support, and there's nothing I can do about that. All right, it's just my reality, right?
Nothing I can do.
So please understand that last night when I'm being transparent, saying, man, this really sucks. I worked extra hard and I got nothing for it. That's just me venting and being honest.
I worked extra hard. I played a game for an hour longer. That's what I work extra hard means, is that I played a game for an hour longer. And so now he did that with the expectation of people giving him money, because otherwise he wouldn't have done it, which lets you know that he's not doing this because of the love or the content or the art. He's doing it just because it's how he's made money.
honest. This is not me blaming. This is not me being ungrateful or upset at the audience. This is just me saying this is my life situation, and it kind of sucks. You know, that's it. That's reality for me. You know.
I'm pretty much to the point where, yeah, I'm financially destitute. It sucks. So it is what it is. God forbid someone on the internet is real. That means that they're ungrateful and negative and toxic. What the fuck are you talking about?
And the cult-like semantics that he plays, right, is so fucking interesting, because this dude's out here. Anyone that has any criticism is immediately a detractor, a troll, a liar, somebody that's trying to bring him down, right? Anyone. He doesn't take any criticism, right? He doesn't take anything for himself. And on top of that, he's deceitful. He's lying. Obviously lying, overtly lying, not even hiding it. And then imagine if you have any sort of criticism on his way of life, which is scamming people for money, essentially lying in order to have them feel bad and give him money. You're a troll. You're a bad person. You're a scumbag.
Really? What are you talking about? That's not what I said last night at all. I had a whole segment yesterday about how I'm different from all the other content creators because I don't have any of those promotions, ads, or shilling. It's you guys that support my content. Then I have an incredibly frustrating stream with a terrible game and people don't.
That's because when he actually was making a decent amount of money on YouTube, he was always bitching and moaning as to all these other streamers that had sponsors and actually had advertisers that paid them to have a little segment on their particular streams or videos, right? He was bitching and moaning and saying, oh, look, these guys are dumb. These blue-haired losers, these guys that play games, they have all these sponsors. I don't have that. I'm making all the money that I need. And then eventually he got to the point where that well dried up, right? That well dried up. He couldn't have the funding that he used to make when YouTube was at its peak, before the whole adpocalypse thing. And then he was desperate to try to get any form of funding at all. So he then went to try to find sponsorships. And then people called him out and said, hey, Phil, what the fuck? What you said that you would never do this because you make more money and you don't need to do this. You don't need to grovel and shill and lie. And he's done it constantly. And every single time people call him out on it, I didn't say that. Rewriting history, retconning stuff. It's fucking dumb. Well, I'm curious about what you spend $400 on your day off. Well, from what people have tracked, what people on the spectrum have tracked, he spends on delivery. He spends on DoorDash. He spends on groceries, on Starbucks. Like he'll spend pretty much on a whim, maybe $200 in a mobile game, right? Multiple times, depending on what pack he opens or whatever the fuck he's trying to do. And they calculated this. And then when he says, oh, I have this exorbitant bill, through nefarious means, they find that it's nothing, that it's minuscule compared to the rest of his spending. And he's bitching and moaning as to how he doesn't have money, but then he'll get groceries for, I don't know, $400 to $500, and then he'll get DoorDash for $150, and then he'll cry, bitch, and moan. This guy makes $80,000 to $120,000 a year playing games, and he spends about $150,000. So it's not like he's making any effort into saving it. Even if he was paying bills, he's not making any effort whatsoever. And obviously, this is a 2-income household. He's living with his wife, so I don't understand what the deal is with that aspect of it. But oh shit, I can't imagine anybody like this saying, hey guys, I don't have enough money to buy a game for my job that I'm giving myself, right? This is a self-imposed job of streaming content, of playing video games, and I'm not going to be able to afford that. And he's guilting his audience into paying for the game. This is definitely not a healthy thing, but it is interesting to look at and interesting to see the language more so than anything, right? The sort of stuff that he says, that cult-like language, the sort of semantic games that he plays. That's the part that I find interesting.
I see you again, when 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 I see you again. When I see you again, when I see you again.